Good morning, class 10. Today we are going to revise 3 topics in grammar. We'll quickly brush up the 3 topics: tenses, subject verb concord, and modal verbs. Then I will simultaneously read out some of the exercises along with their answers so that you know what kind of sentences are there in each chapter. You have done last year also, you are very much aware, but still I will read out some new exercises to you so that you know things once again. First of all, I am reading the exercise of tenses. But before I read the exercise of tenses, let us quickly brush up the chapter tenses. You all know that there are basically 3 tenses: the present tense, past tense, and future tense. Present tense is further divided into simple present, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous tense. In the simple present tense, it is used to show any habitual action, a universal truth, or anything that is happening in the present time. For example, she teaches in a public school. Teaches. The word teaches here, the verb teaches here shows that it is simple present tense. Suppose I say she is learning music. She is learning music. It will become present continuous tense because learning, that means the work is still going on. It is in continuation. So if the present, is used, that denotes present tense, and ing form of the verb is used, it shows it is present continuous tense. Then the third category is present perfect tense. Present perfect tense is used to denote an action that has been completed in the immediate past. For example, if I give you a work to do at 8 o'clock in the morning and at 9 o'clock you tell me, I have finished my work. I have finished my work. That means the work was given to you in the immediate past. And in the present time itself, you have finished your work. So has or have plus the third form of the verb is used in the present perfect tense. Then the fourth form is present perfect continuous tense. In the present perfect continuous, we express an action that began in the past and has been in progress till the time of speaking. The work began in the past and has been in progress at the time of speaking. For example, we have been participating in the play for 3 years. We have been participating. Have been or has been plus ing form of the verb is used in the present perfect continuous tense. It shows that the action, the work, the act of taking part, the work of taking part started 3 years back, and from 3 years every year this work is going on. It is still in progress. That is why it will be included under present perfect continuous tense. Then the next category is simple past tense. Past tense is also divided as the present tense is simple past, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. In the simple past tense, we use simple past tense to show an action that was completed in a definite point in the past. The work started in the past and it was completed at a definite point of time in the past. For example, Reema visited her aunt yesterday. Reema visited her aunt yesterday. It shows that the work was done in the past time. Visited, the past tense form of the verb is used. Then second is past continuous tense. Past continuous tense expresses an action in progress before the moment of speaking. Before the moment of speaking came, the work was in progress. For example, It was raining heavily at 6 o'clock in the morning. It was raining heavily. That means the action has been performed. It took place in the past time. It was raining. The action of raining was going on at 6 o'clock in the morning. Then it also shows or indicates gradual development when used with time expression. For example, she was getting late. It shows something that is happening gradually. She was getting late. Was shows it is past tense. Getting, ing form of the verb, is denoting that it was past continuous tense. Then the third category is past perfect tense. Past perfect tense is used when two actions are taking place at the same time, and the past perfect tense is used to describe an action which was completed just before the second action in the past. Two actions were taking place at the same time, and the first action was completed before the second action took place. For example, I am reading one example to you. He had taken his breakfast when his mother arrived. He had taken his breakfast when his mother arrived. So in this sentence there are two actions. The boy took his breakfast. Second action, arrival of his mother. The first action was performed before the second action took place. The boy had already taken his breakfast. This is the first action which he had already performed before the second action, that is arrival of his mother, took place. So this is how your present perfect tense is written. Then you have past perfect continuous tense. Past perfect continuous tense expresses an action that was finished at some definite time in the past, but which had been going on before it was finished or had recently finished. I am reading again. Past perfect tense expresses an action that was finished at some time in the past, but which had been going on before it was finished or had recently finished. That means the work was finished at a specific time, at a definite time in the past, but it was still going on just before it was finished or it has recently finished. For example, Ramesh had been working in this factory since he came to Delhi. Ramesh had been working in this factory since he came to Delhi. That means the action of working in the factory began in the past time, and for years he has been working. So some part of that activity has been performed in the past time, but still it is going on. At present also he is working. So that is why the name of this tense is past perfect continuous tense. Then next is simple future tense. Simple future tense is used to describe actions that will take place in the future. I will bring the book. Will shows it is future tense. I shall see you shortly. Shall shows it is future tense. Then next is future continuous tense. Like in all continuous tenses, in future continuous also will or shall plus ing form of the verb is used to denote this tense. For example, she will be reading a book at that time. Will be reading, it shows it is future tense. Will be is added here. Will plus be plus ing form of the verb, it makes this tense a future continuous tense. Then next is future perfect tense. Future perfect tense is used to express an action that will have been completed in the future by a certain time. The action will start in the future and it will be completed in the future at a specific time. For example, at this time she will have left for the US. At this time tomorrow, at this time tomorrow, tomorrow shows it is future tense. At this time tomorrow she will have left for the US. So the work will start in the future, it will start tomorrow, and at a specific time, at this time tomorrow, at a specific time tomorrow, the action will have been completed. So this shows it is future perfect tense. What is the form? First subject is written, then will or shall plus have plus the third form of the verb. At this time tomorrow she will have left, will have left. Left is the third form of the verb for the US. Then next is future perfect continuous. Future perfect continuous denotes an action that will be finished at some time in future, but which had been going on before it was finished. The work, the action will be finished. It will be finished at some definite time in the future, but before it was finished, it was going on. The form is subject plus will or shall plus have been plus the first form of the verb plus ing and then the object. I am reading the example for you. You will have been celebrating your birthday tomorrow this time. You will have been celebrating your birthday tomorrow at this time. So the sentence shows that tomorrow, that is in the future time, the action of celebrating the birthday will be in progress. The party, some part of the party will already be over, but the remaining function, the remaining party will be going on. So this is future perfect continuous tense. Now I am reading some sentences to you. These are including simple past also, simple present also, then future tense also. These are mixed. I am just reading it for you. Pay attention. The verbs are given in brackets. I will read the verb also. We dashed to Guwahati by Rajdhani Express last month. The verb is go. Now since last month is written, so your common sense should tell you that it is past tense. So what will you write? Went. We went to Guwahati by Rajdhani Express last month. Rajdhani train dash a fully air conditioned train. The verb is be. Rajdhani train dash a fully air conditioned train. So the answer will be is. Be form of the verb. Remember, I have told you be form of the verb. Is, are, am, was, were, will be, shall be. All these will come under be form of the verb. It dash food, cold drinks, water and blankets at night. The verb is provide. It dash. So you will write provides. It provides food, cold drinks, water and blankets at night. The journey dash cool. The verb is be. So what form of be will you write? Is. The journey is cool. On the opposite, there dash a priest. There dash a priest. The be form of the verb again you have to write. So the answer will be was. There was a priest. I informed that he dash a book. I was informed that he dash a book. The verb is read. So you will write read. R-E-A-D. Spelling will be R-E-A-D, but the pronunciation will be read. I hope that you dash pardon me soon. The verb is pardon. I hope that you dash pardon me soon. Pardon is the verb. So the answer will be you will pardon me soon. So you can get any type of sentences. You will have to read the sentences carefully so that you know whether you have to write simple present or continuous tenses or past tense, future tense, whatever. Now let us revise quickly modal verbs. I am reading out some modals for you. Shall. Shall is used for future tense. We use shall to show promise, determination, command when we use it with second or third person like you, he, it or they. Then will. Will is used in simple future tense when used with second or third person. It is used to show promise, threat, determination or command when used with first person. Then should. Should is a modal verb which denotes duty, obligation, advice, suggestion, request, surprise, purpose, etc. The past tense of should is shall. Past form of shall, sorry. The past form of shall is should. The past form of shall is should. Then would. Would is the past form of will. Will is the present. Will shows future tense and the past of will is would. Will shows willingness, past habit, determination, suggestion, polite request, wish or desire or some unreal condition. Then can. Can is used to show ability, strong possibility or permission. Then need. Need is used to show necessity or obligation. It is used in negative and interrogative sentences. Then could. Could is used to show ability of the past, polite request or possibility. It is the past tense of can. Next is may. M-A-Y, may. It is used to show formal permission. For example, when you have to come inside the classroom, you say, "Ma'am, may I come in?" It shows formal permission. Doubtful possibility, like if you see clouds in the sky, you can say, "It may rain." Doubtful possibility, you can't be 100% sure. Purpose or wish. Wish, may God bless you. It shows wish. Might. Might is the past form of may. It is used to show possibility and purpose. Then must. Must is used to show necessity, compulsion, obligation, determination, certainty, prohibition, that means stopping from doing some work, prohibition, etc. Ought to. Ought to is very important modal verb, children. It is used to show moral duty, obligation, advice or a strong probability. Then used to. Used to is used to show any past habit. You used to sleep at late night. Used to is used to show past habit. Has to or have to or had to. They are used to show forced action of future or past. I have already taught you modal verbs in class 9th. I have taught you all the rules. I have taught you all the modal verbs also. Please revise from your last year's copy as well so that you know which kind of modal verb is used under which situation, because there are some modal verbs which can be used in more than one situations. Now, I am reading out one exercise to you. The exercise is in paragraph form. as you have done paragraph form exercises last year also. So you know very well how they are there in the question paper, how they are given in the paper, and how you have to attempt. I am reading. In India, the death toll due to road accidents dash increased drastically. The answer is has. I am reading the whole sentence with the correct answer now. In India, the death toll due to road accidents has increased drastically. Most of them dash have been averted. Most of them could have been averted. That means we could have stopped them. Wider road awareness among road users dash be taught. The answer is ought to. Wider road awareness among road users ought to be taught. Separate lanes for heavy vehicles dash be made. The answer is should. Separate lanes for heavy vehicles should be made. More strict laws dash be enforced while issuing licenses. The answer is must. More strict laws must be enforced while issuing licenses. If we do not follow this, the degrading society like ours dash fail the next day. The answer is will. Will fail the next day. Then one more exercise I am reading. Cross-border terrorism dash increase if there is no check now. Answer is will. Cross-border terrorism will increase if there is no check now. The prime cause is nobody enters the state illegally dash be permitted to stay. The answer is should not. The prime cause is anybody who enters state illegally should not be permitted to stay. Our government dash undertake strong measures so that this act could be prevented. Our government should take strong measures so that this act could be prevented. I hope the terrorists dash realize their moral obligation. I hope the terrorists would realize their moral obligation. Kill the sin and not the sinner. Hence, the terrorists dash not be punished. The terrorists should not be punished. Rather, they dash to be rehabilitated. They ought to be or they need to be rehabilitated. So this is the way exercises can come in the modal verbs. Now, last thing is subject-verb concord. I am reading some of the important things in subject-verb concord. Subject-verb concord means which verb you have to use with which subject. The relationship between the verb and the subject. I am reading some important things. The given words look plural, but they are in fact singular nouns. For example, dramatics. The word ends with S. It looks like plural, but it is actually singular noun. So we will use singular verb. Economics, statistics, measles, aerobics, all these look like plural, but actually they are singular nouns. So they take singular verb with them. Next is words such as audience, crowd, group, family take a singular or plural verb depending upon the sentence. But it is always safe to use plural verbs with these nouns. Here children, I don't agree with this line that it is always safe to use plural verbs with these nouns. No. It will depend upon what is the sentence, and you will have to decide whether you will take singular verb or plural verb with words like audience, crowd, group or family. Next is nouns plural in form but singular in meaning take a plural verb. For example, scissors, goggles, jeans, spectacles. When we use spectacles, if you keep your spectacles on the table, what will you say? My spectacles are kept on the table. Why do you say? It is one commodity, but we take it as plural. Why? Because it is a pair. It is a pair, isn't it? So we always say my spectacles are kept on the table. You will not say my spectacles is kept on the table. My goggles are kept on the table. You will not say my goggles is kept on the table. So nouns plural in form but singular in meaning. Meaning is singular because the commodity is one, but the noun is taken as plural because there are two. That is why. So they take a plural verb. Next important thing is with words like everybody, somebody, nobody, anybody, anyone and each, they take a singular verb. I am repeating: everybody, somebody, nobody, anyone and each takes a singular verb. Next is when two subjects are joined by and, they require a plural verb. For example, the cow and the goat are grazing. Suppose I write the black and white cow dash grazing. So what will you write? Is. Because we are talking about the same cow. It is black and white in color. So you will write is. But in this sentence, it is very clear that we are talking about two animals, one cow and one goat. So obviously you will use are as the verb. We use a singular verb if two subjects are separated by and, refer to the same person or thing. Just now I gave you the example of cow. I am reading the example here also. Dal and rice is my grandfather's favorite. Why we are using is here? We use a singular verb when two subjects, that are the nouns, are separated by and refer to the same person or thing. Dal and rice, they are two subjects here, they are two nouns here, but they are separated by and first of all, and they are referring to the same person. We are talking about one person who is the grandfather in this sentence, and grandfather likes dal and rice. So when there are two subjects in the sentence separated by and refer to the same person or thing, we use a singular verb. Next, if subjects are joined by or, nor, either, neither, the verb agrees with the subject. I am reading again. If subjects are joined by or, nor, either and neither, the verb agrees with the subject. That means you have to see subject is singular or plural, then you will decide the verb. I am reading the examples for you. Neither he nor his friend was there. Now see, you will keep in mind the second subject in this sentence. Friend is singular, so you will write was there. You will write the singular verb. Second example. Either the boy or his sisters have broken the tray. either the boy or his sisters. Now see, again you will see the second subject here. Second subject is singular or plural? It is plural. Sisters. So with plural we will use have. If it was sister, then we will write has. So have is the verb because we are seeing that the second subject here is the plural subject. He or his friends are to be blamed. He or his friends are to be blamed. Now again see the second subject. Friends, plural subject. So are. If it was only friend, then is. Okay? Next. The title of a book, play, story or a musical composition takes a singular verb even though they are plural in number. The title of the book, title of a play, title of a story or any musical composition, they take a singular verb even if they are plural in their name. Then next is when a plural noun comes between the singular subject and its verb, the verb agrees with the subject and not with the nearest plural. I am reading again. When a plural noun comes between a singular subject and its verb, the verb agrees with the subject and not with the nearest plural. See the example. Each of the watermelons is sweet. Now see, each of the watermelons. Each word shows that you are talking about each individual watermelon. Although here it is written watermelons, you will not take into consideration the plural subject. You will see that in the sentence you are talking about each watermelon. Now when you are talking about each individual thing, that means you have to use is, singular subject, singular verb. I am reading this rule again. When a plural noun is watermelons in this sentence. When a plural noun comes between the singular subject and its verb. Singular subject is each and verb is. The verb agrees with the subject. Subject is each. The verb agrees with the subject and not with the nearest plural. Even if the noun is plural, but if you see that the subject is singular, the verb will be according to the subject. It will not be according to the plural noun. Very important thing. Then, second example of the same rule.